It's cremation time. I just wanted to say that sentence because we are on track number 13 from the second person album by Yorushka. So far, this has been a very interesting album. It's certainly an album that gives you a lot of sounds and ideas that you start to realize are the signatures of this album, but and yet at the same time, obviously, so much of what you guys have told me in the comments makes it very clear that certain things that might be the signatures of this album are not signatures of the group overall. So I will be, after we finish second person, going back and having a look at the debut album as well, hopefully. Hope you guys enjoy that one with me. But yeah, Cremation is where we're at. I'm looking forward to this because, well, it's weird. As long as this album is 22 tracks, we're in the second half. So I'm glad that we've still got a lot to go, but it is interesting how I feel like we're over halfway through. A lot still to come, but hey, let's see what we get from this one, Cremation. No real idea, no music video, so let's jump in and hope to be a bit surprised. There's a manual cremation, or cremating your lungs. Oh, YouTube will block me for that. Very funky.
ある日私は気づいた洗面台の鏡の前で空っぽの穴がある私の顔の下のあたりに
Immediately the layering in this one's really nice, but the funkiness. There's little subtle punches from the trumpet there. I love that. That was a bit surreal. Nice. This is all about the layering and the rhythm. I've got to be honest, I love the melody, but there's so much going on in the rhythm for this one. And the way the bass is tying it all together is beautiful. It's always going to make me smile. So well unified, and yet there's so many sounds. It sounds so simple and yet so many things at the same time. Okay, that is both very Yorushka, very second person, and yet okay, we've got lots to talk about here. So this is one of those songs that on its own merit, it really knows what it wants to be, in that it sets up this wonderful mood, this wonderful atmosphere. You can just feel that kind of, I don't really know what the correct word is for it. I want to say like samba, salsa, but I'm not very good with my Latin music genres. It sets out a Latin kind of mood. Bossa Nova? No. I guess it's a Latin kind of mood, and it just kind of moves forwards with it in a way that is so endearing. And again, you know, I have to repeat a lot of the things I've said about other songs on this album and about this album as a general, in that the way that it manages to appeal so well is by presenting that genre, a genre that we often think of as being a very live genre. You know, you think of that kind of Latin music and immediately are transported to being in a room. You can imagine being around a Latin kind of band. You can imagine the location, maybe stereotypically you're sitting on a beach and the sun's going down and you're drinking a cocktail or something. It's very evocative of a certain mood and a certain emotion and a certain atmosphere. And so, as I was saying, it really requires a very live, tangible feel. And so, yes, this song very much plays to the strengths of what this album's already set out as its primary strength. You know, this quality of sounding and feeling very live, very real, like you're in a relatively small location, personal, hearing this band playing for you up close, as I say, personal. So I think this song really wins on that level. It wins on the level that it brings us all of those wonderful Latin sounds. It has a funkiness, it has a flow, and it has beautiful vocals of Suisse over the top, which just makes this a song that you can't really be unhappy with. It does so many things really well in a nice, concise package. However, obviously, it's a song that also maybe you could say is so fantastic because it gives itself a relatively easy target to go for. So it's not the sort of song that would stand out on the album. And I understand therefore why it is the quintessential example of an album track. It's the sort of song where you go from what we just heard with the, let me remind myself of the name, Ribato, into the next song, which obviously I haven't heard yet, but appears to be, we got like 2 singles in a row, 2 music video worthy songs in a row. And this is one of those songs that will transition you between them. It'll be enjoyable. It'll be full of all the class, quality and things that I just mentioned. And yet, probably on its own, might just be forgotten. It's not the sort of song that grabs your attention so much as just entertains you briefly and moves you on. And I think the primary reason for that is that this feels almost like a band jamming. You know, when you have really good musicians who just sit down and they jam something and they all play together and you know it's going to have this wonderful syncopation and everything's going to click and it's going to sound great. But ultimately that's not how you generate like the timeless songs. That's just how you generate something nice that passes a little bit of time. High quality, entertaining at the time, but ultimately that's not where you get the memorable songs from. And so this, for example, doesn't really build to a crescendo. It doesn't really go anywhere. It's one of those songs where once you've heard the first 30 seconds, you've pretty much heard everything you need to sum up whether you're going to enjoy the song or not. And by that same token, I'd be very surprised after hearing the first 30 seconds whether you weren't going to enjoy the song because, well, it's a very enjoyable formula. But a simple formula, one that's over pretty quickly and one that, in its own way, as I say, is great, but feels like a transitional song on the album. Feels like one of those songs that moves you on to the next song. And that's actually what we're going to be doing next. I will say again, it's interesting that this album has that fantastic quality, just that underlying quality of every song sounding so gorgeous, so crisp, so lively, so real, so keep on coming back to this word, but tangible, that in a strange way, even a song like this that you could argue is kind of like a filler track, even this is entirely entertaining. It's not like when you hear a rock band and a rock band does a filler track. And, you know, filler tracks on rock band albums can sometimes feel a little bit underwhelming. But on an album like this, even the song that is not that standout, it just kind of puts you into a very chilled state. And so I have to say that ultimately, is this a song that I am going to come back to? No, but it is one of those songs that, again, fits into that little wonderful, how to say, bag of songs that I keep mentally in my head. The songs that I might forget about, but I'll be happy to hear again when that time comes. Presumably next time I put on this album. Because I imagine I will probably have forgotten Cremation a few songs down the line from now. But, yep, gotta say, it certainly was not for a lack of quality, a lack of entertainment, just kind of a lack of any standout identity in this one. Certainly, though, very, very funky. Really just loved where everything came together. But it came together because that whole Latin music formula is just It is a recipe for success if you have the right musicians, if you have a good vocalist, and you're going to record it really well. So, good stuff. Genuinely good stuff. I hope this doesn't sound like I'm damning it with faint praise, but this is definitely a really good song. Maybe not a standout one from the album, but hey, they didn't give it a music video, so I imagine they saw it in a similar light to me. Anyway, as always, get in the comments. Tell me what you think, and until I hopefully see you very soon for the next one of these. For now, ciao, ciao.